friends. I'm hoping to talk about some things today and share some things and update on some things. I'm not sure about this live video thing. I'm not sure how to moderate while I'm doing anything live. So bear with me as I learn, like trying to schedule it. There's a old one and a new one. So I had it scheduled on both for a few minutes, but anyway, I don't know if anybody will show up. Hopefully, I can figure it out and share some things and update. It seems like this is a better way to update than just doing it by myself. That way I can interact and answer some questions. However, I still am answering every question on my blog. On my YouTube channel and my blog, because I just take the time to do that. But I'm sure these people who have 1 million viewers just can't do that. So they do live so they can get the questions and answers. But I figure I just do my video. Hopefully I don't get any trolls or whatever. I just deleted them last time. But I probably should just have somebody moderate. But anyway, and I know that Sunday afternoons or evenings is probably not the best time to do this. But I just never know how I'm going to be feeling during the week. And I don't work in the yard on Sunday. That's just, we try and keep the Sabbath day holy. It's in the scriptures. So on Sundays, it's a day of rest and visiting. And I usually Skype my grandkids. It's so weird to see yourself and like, oh, that's annoying, But so I usually Skype with my grandkids and visit with them on Sundays and take a nap sometimes and try to catch up on things that are not outside. So that's why Sunday afternoons are easier for me to do. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like there's a ton of people able to do it that night. I think people are getting ready for their school week and their work week. But I don't know. And maybe I just answer all the questions when people ask, and so they don't feel like they need to be on live. But for me, it's just easy. I was going to do an update anyway. I've got all my little sticky notes with things I want to bring up, because it seems like if I don't write them down, I forget when I'm visiting, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I wanted to talk about that. So I have that. And so the first thing I wanted to do is just say everything that I share on my videos is just my opinion. I am not trying to diagnose anybody. I'm not trying to tell them what to do. I'm not trying to suggest medicines they should try or things they should do. It's what's working for me and things that have helped me. And I'm just sharing that because, as far as I know, nobody else is diagnosed with this, and if they are, they're not going public with all the symptoms and everything. So I'm just trying to share what I've tried so that when science checks it out, they can know and everything. So I'm not suggesting that anybody do anything or try anything, just letting you know that's what I've tried and done. Now, I did put up a UV light on this side. You can see it's much lighter on that side than on this side. Because it's getting dark outside, and I know it once the light from outside goes down, you can see it's light in the back, but the sun is on its way down, and so I just didn't want it to be super yellow and super dark in here. So that's why I have that UV light on. But anyway, so if you want to try something that I suggested, go talk to your doctor about it and make sure that it would work for you, because everybody has different things and it's on different medication. And anyway, the other reason I put the the UV light on, is so you could see the yellowing in my eyes. It's so much more clear, like yellow, when there's at natural light. So I figured if I put that in, you would be able to see a little bit more my yellowing eyes. So that's the first thing. So then I want to talk about what I've been taking to daily. Some days I'm super tired, and a lot of it depends on how much sleep I get. If I don't get 10 to 12 hours, I'm super draggy, and I know my thyroid is bad. I've been freezing cold. Like at night, I'm in a ball, and I'll actually turn the heater off when I'm falling asleep, and then sometimes I'll actually have to turn it back on. And I have 2 down comforters, a heavy bedspread, and sheet. So, and I warm it up before I get in it. If I don't, it takes me forever to fall asleep because I'm so cold. So that's just how I am. I'm very, my thyroid is just kind of slow, and that's what happens. So, but I keep taking different things and trying different things, and you know that as I have shared all that stuff with you. So I'm still taking my lemon ginger blast, and I told you how I saved it to drink in the morning and at night. But these are little ball, I think they're freezer jam containers or something. But I have a bunch of these with the lid. So what I do is I make a lemon ginger blast. It's better if you do it fresh, but you don't drink it that much of it. So the recipe's on my blog and also on my YouTube channel. It's called Lemon Ginger Blast. So check that out. We've used it for years. It's really great for laryngitis if you're singing or whatever. We know a pretty famous singer, and he called my sister one time because she gave it to him when he was performing once. And so he called her for the recipe because it really helped his voice. So anyway, I drink this much every morning and every night, and that seems to be helping keep down any illnesses. I did have a sore throat a week or so ago, and I didn't take care of it the first day. I mean, I did drink that and it kept it down, but then I'd forget it a night, or I actually ran out one night, and then the next morning I had the sore throat again. So it seems to just keep it down when I take that morning and night. And then depending on how much cayenne you put in, it'll help. Also, I think I shared in my last video that I like pineapple after I eat my meal. So pineapple has a natural, it's a digestive enzyme in it. And so I use these things, and they're different sizes. You can buy them. Most grocery stores have them in their produce section. And so what I do is I don't like touching food. As you know, with the Parasite, I'm very, very cautious about touching food. So I slice the top off the pineapple. I put this in. I wind it all the way down. Once it's to the bottom, I take a knife and I just slice right down the side. And maybe I'll make a video about this, but then I just kind of pull it off and slide this out, and then the core will stay with the peel. And then I've got this ring of pineapple right here, and I just take a knife and I just slice it like this over a bowl and make it into chunks this size. So I just buy a pineapple or two a week, and then I'll just, when I finish my meal, it's kind of like my dessert. I try not to do sugar, and I'm been pretty good. If I crave some sugar, I'll usually drink one of these, or I'll eat some pineapple. So I just eat a few of these after each meal to help digest the meal. So that's what I've been doing that way. And then I'm still taking the one a day. I'm not always adding iodine and I take the NAC, but I am not taking extra iodine because the multivitamin I have has iodine in it. So, but if I'm feeling a little bit sluggish, I will put a little bit of iodine and drink a little bit of iodine. But for the most part, I'm getting it through my vitamin, and then I'll share with you in a minute. I'm putting it on the skin when I'm feeling parasites, which I'll go over in a minute. So I'm doing those two things. See, and I'm using a new chat, so I don't even know. Maybe I'm videotaping it and there's nobody can get on. I don't know. So there may not anybody show up because I'm using the different chat window, the live something versus the live dashboard versus the regular chat. So I don't know. Maybe it'll just be a video, an update video. So maybe it will be. I don't know, because I don't know what I'm doing here. It's like there's so many different options and things. And anyway, so I did start taking caprylic acid again. Now I've taken this in the past. What caprylic acid is, and somebody told me about when I had chronic yeast infections. It's a acid that is naturally in coconut, and it kills funguses, yeast type thing. And so you got to start really slow when you're taking caprylic acid because it can give a massive die off if you take too much. So I've just been taking one a day in the morning for now because I have been having headaches anyway. We've had rain like literally every afternoon for a couple weeks. And so I don't want to add to my headache by a die-off headache as well as the rain headache, sinus headache. So I've just been taking one of these in the morning, and I have had a little bit of die-off headache. The headaches from the storm are a little bit different than the die-off headaches. I feel like really toxic and kind of swell when I'm having a die-off because the body's trying to get rid of all the dead fungus or parasite or whatever it's killing off. And so you feel toxic, and I feel a little swelly and tight in my joints. Whereas the sinus headache is definitely all through here. It causes teeth pain on up for my sinuses. So I've been taking that. And if you haven't tried it, research it. It's really good. I just cleaned out my vitamins and found it. And I was like, oh, caprylic acid. Yeah, I need to take that. So it's funny. I kind of just rotate through depending on when I clean up from people coming. I take it all off the counter. But now I've put it all in a little cute tray with the kids' pictures on it so that I could just not put it in a bag and stick it somewhere and forget about it. And I'm still taking this Iron Plus. I absolutely just love this product. I mean, like I've shared in a lot of the videos, I've taken it for 7 years, 10 years, something like that. And when I run out, I drag. And there was a couple days I had my daughter home last week for the entire week. And so we were going to do work in the yard. So we didn't do any of it, but we were up super, super late every night visiting and talking and working on some stuff. And so I was so tired and a little bit, and so I hadn't taken this because she was there and it was busy. So I started taking this again, and I'm starting to feel better again. So it just really helps. And it's Spinal Touch Formulas out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's 801-906-0287. And they have B vitamins that are really good to assimilate. And I know I'm assimilating because it makes your pee turn yellow. So if you're feeling sluggish, B vitamins are super good to take too. But you need C and E if you're going to take B vitamins. So make sure you take C and vitamin E if you're going to take many Bs, because you don't want to deplete yourself of one and the other. And that's why I'm going with a multivitamin most of the time, is because there's so many things that you need. Like for calcium, you need zinc, and no, that's for D. For vitamin D, you need zinc and K. And for calcium, you need magnesium. And for B, you need C and E. And so it's just easier to tell people just to do a multivitamin. And so we crush those, though, either a coffee grinder or just use the end of a hammer, the end of a knife to smash it down. So I think I'm just recording this. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm recording it for later or something. Anyway, it's still working. It will be fine. It's just like making a video. So the only problem when I do it this way is I don't have a copy of it. It doesn't save it to my computer, so it goes online, and then I can't retrieve it and use it for myself or whatever. And if it goes wrong, you can't upload it again because it's whatever. So this is a little different for me. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully you'll get to watch it later. I wanted to share that I had a great Mother's Day. I got to video chat with Princess 5 and all of my girls actually online, a video chat, and it was really fun to visit with all of them and the grandkids. And my daughter just sent me the cutest little video. My grandson, he's not quite 2. He's doing the itsy bitsy spider actions. It's so cute. I know people just don't want to hear about grandkids because they're only cute if they're yours, but it's so cute and I love it. I get a blessed grandma shirt. This week I've actually, the first couple days I was recuperating from being up a lot last week, but towards the end of the week, middle of the week to the end of the week, I got a lot done in my yard. I've been pulling out any weeds and laying down cardboard boxes and actually wood, like thin wood, and then putting down a ground cover, like a black ground cover, and then putting the black mulch that I bought last year, the bark, in the back. The front's been done for a year, but the back didn't get finished. So I've been having energy to do that, which is awesome. But if I don't sleep, so a couple weeks in a row, I was actually losing a little bit of weight, which is unheard of, but I have to sleep 12 hours a night to do that. But the being up last week, I didn't get much sleep. Sorry, I was gonna wait. It is on silence. I'm not quite sure where it rang. So sorry, it's beeping. So I actually gained a few pounds last week being up late and not sleeping 10 to 12 hours. So it's just that has been exactly how it's been 4 years now. If I don't sleep, I gain weight. If I do sleep, I lose weight and or maintain my weight. And that has been the only situation. Like literally I can diet and exercise and it doesn't matter. It doesn't. But I am still eating beets for every meal. Right now I have like 15 beets in my fridge with the leaves on them and everything. I haven't cut them up and cooked them yet. I've got one more frozen. I freeze them in little Tupperware, and then I'll pull them out and I'll eat them a little bit with each meal. And so my average meal, the same thing as what I've told you before. It's fish and chicken, rice, like a long grain, some kind of healthy rice mix, and beets and beet greens. I just mix them all together and bake them. Really low fat because I just can't tolerate the fats. And then I've done some herb potatoes, and those recipes for the most part are on my blog. I don't know if they're YouTubed, but I use like a Italian seasoning on the potatoes, and that's pretty much what I eat every day for my main meal. And then I just usually eat fruit or vegetables. Like I have those bell pepper, the mini bell peppers in the fridge, and I'll eat those as a snack either side of my large meal. And then pineapple, I've shared that with you. So that's pretty much what I eat. You would think I would lose some weight, but no. Okay, so I got these lists and I'm already down 3. That's good. So, okay, so symptoms. I shared a couple, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months ago that I was having like bladder leakage a little bit when they were burrowing in and out, and it felt like sometimes it was air, like a bubble, or sometimes it's a little bit of fluid, but it's like not enough that it would wet anything. It's just I can feel it escaping, kind of like when I close my lips and I can feel one burrowing out. It feels like a pop rock going off. So it's that feeling. But as I haven't been taking anything to try and keep them down other than just iodine, they have gotten longer, and I can feel that they're longer. Like the one that I sent in was, so like I've sent in 4 and 5 inch ones, and the one that got diagnosed was 8 inches or so. And I can feel those 8 inches or ones moving around as I treat things. So last week, I told you I was working in the yard a lot. Last week, the week before, this week, I've been working pruning trees, cleaning around the bottom of the trees. I have those like decorative little things, and I was putting bark in there. So weeding those out and digging out the little bricks and putting them back in. So I was on my knees a lot after I pruned the trees. Then the next couple of days I was weeding, and I was on my knees a lot. And so I was wearing jeans, and the grass was a little damp. It's been raining every afternoon. So I'm kneeling in the wet grass, and I'm cleaning out underneath the trees and lining them and putting in some bark and whatever. And I got 2 what I thought were mosquito bites while I was pruning and working around the trees. So I thought that I had mosquito bites. So I didn't put any iodine on them, and I was scratching them a little bit, not excessively. And they weren't mosquito bites. It was that stupid burrow out, burrow back in, leave bacteria, staph type thing on my skin. So it probably was the same worm both times, but because it was wet, I think over a long time, because I was kneeling in the wet while I was working on these 3 trees, So I think that the parasite came out and that left bacteria. So I've been dealing with that for about a week and a half. And when I did that, I put iodine, how I treat it, and I share this in the other videos, is when you get those pussy rashes, they kind of let yellow and they spread and they're itchy and they just are burning and whatever. It didn't get to that point because I catch it pretty early, but it did get to the point where it was super itchy and I had 2 spots. And so how I treat that is I put iodine on the, over it, and then I put diatomaceous earth on it. So the iodine will drive them away or kill them, and then the diatomaceous earth dries it, keeps it dry. And then if they come out, the diatomaceous earth will kill them and the iodine will drive them away. So I can see that people are watching, but I'm not seeing any. So I think I'm in the wrong dashboard. I don't know. If you're watching, I can't see your comments. So I am sorry. So if you have a comment, put it in the, oh, wait, that's not true. I do see one. Leland says, drink citrus tea. So I guess it is. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never used this live dashboard before. He says, citrus tea, colloidal silver. And he says he's healed after 2 long itchy years. Thank you. And he says, much love to your beautiful soul. That's sweet. I appreciate that. I have tried the colloidal silver, but I think I'd have to drink gallons. So how often did you drink the citrus tea and the colloidal silver, and how much colloidal silver did you put in the citrus tea, and what kind of citrus tea? So see all the questions that can come up. So, and did that just cure the rash, or did that cure the whole parasite? So anyway, so I'm glad somebody can comment. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but so anyway, I put the best thing that I found for that rash, for the outside, for the itching and everything. It still itches, but I just don't scratch it and touch it at all once I've done that. So I put the iodine on and it seems to drive them away. But when I did that, I was doing that once or twice a day for a week. It drove the parasite. Now I've been feeling sharp pains as they burrow, here or there. I can feel them just burrowing a little bit. But now I can feel the long ones burrowing. And so I can feel them burrowing. Like the other day, I could feel it in my hip and it was down mid-thigh. I could literally feel it the entire length of that, which is about 8 to 10 inches. And that was after, so I think I drove it from my right leg back into my left leg because it's been hitting the bladder, and the bladder is, this why I kind of went with this at the same time, is when I put the iodine on certain areas of the skin, it drives them to a different area. And so then I could feel them burrowing down into the left leg. And then I've had that burrowing underneath the skin that I get right before they come out, and then I get an infection. So I was like, oh shoot, now I need to put some iodine on the left leg. That is why I'm not taking any iodine on a regular basis, is because when I have those kind of things, I put iodine on it and I'm getting the iodine through that. But I'm still make sure that I'm taking a really good mineral that has magnesium in it, and then the NaC and the iodine. So if I'm taking any kind of iodine, putting it on the skin or anything, or taking it orally, then I take the NaC. So just remember that if you're going to use iodine, to take NaC and the magnesium, because I didn't before and it was a problem. Okay, so he says, no, colloidal silver under your tongue, a dropper full, and the citrus tea, 5 cups or so a day with honey, local honey, and I do have some of that. 100% turpentine gum spirits mixed with natural lotion for rashes. Okay, that's interesting, because I've never used the turpentine gum on my skin, because when I take it internally, it makes me sick. But I've not tried it on the skin as a rash lotion. Maybe I'll have to try that. Hi, Treasure Trove. And my life is a mess. It just says, are you going through a mess? Sounds like you're going through a mess. And I'm so lucky. You're so lucky to have grandkids to chase. I love it. I wish mine were closer so I could see them more often. I only get to see them every few months, but I love it when I get to. So, well, I'll try that turpentine on with lotion for rashes. I haven't tried that. It seems like when I've tried anything liquid, they've spread and gotten itchier and gotten worse. So, but I like that idea. And yeah, I've used colloidal silver under my tongue for years and years and years, 20 years or so. Well, not 20, probably about 15. No, more than that, 17 maybe. So, so yeah, I do love that, but I think I'd have to drink gallons to keep down the parasites. I don't know. Okay, so I'm feeling them longer. I'm feeling them burrow. And Leland's saying make sure to mix it with the lotion and don't take it internally. Well, people have suggested internally. I've tried it 3 or 4 different times with sugar, without sugar, and it upsets my stomach every time. I just don't think I have enough acid in my stomach to deal with that. So I appreciate you guys sharing. Thank you so much. So this is a first. The last couple of weeks, I haven't shared this, I don't think, because I forgot after the last one. I was like, oh, I was going to share that. I woke up in the night. Now, at the beginning, I woke up seeing a lightning bolt in my eye, and I went to the eye doctor like years ago. But since that time, I haven't seen the lightning bolts, but I do see the shooting floaties and things like that all the time, and shooting stars, the white shooting stars in the shower and stuff. But I've never felt it like this before, and I've had it like a lot since then. So I woke up and I could feel like a long worm in the back of my eye, like burrowing into my eyeball from the back. Now that is a weird thing to say, but I did. It woke me up and I was freaking out. I'm like, I wish it was at the front so I could show somebody or take pictures or prove it, because this is like burrowing in the back of my eyeball. And it has happened. It usually is at night when I'm sleeping, and then it will wake me up because it's so disturbing to feel that. And so I've felt it several times since then. It's a longer worm. So like, I guess when they're smaller, I'm not feeling it as much. I might see the shooting stars or whatever, but I actually can feel these burrowing in, which is a really bizarre and weird feeling. So I felt a lot of that lately. I can't even count the times that I felt that lately. And so that is new, is in the sense that I can actually feel it burrowing from the back of the eye into the eyeball and maybe out. I can just feel that there's something crawling behind the eyeball, not in the eyeball, but behind the eyeball. So creepy. And so I have had a lot more general pain where I can feel them burrowing, and then just like it's like a pinch or a bite on the inside. And then I can feel like it traipsing down as it moves slowly. And I felt that a lot, but I'm having more sharp pain. So I think it's maybe a bigger worm that's causing it, because it's more of a pinch or a bite, more so on the inside than I've had in the past. So then in the teeth root, I feel it. It's usually at night when it happens. I do get it sometimes during the day if I've eaten something they don't like, or like this is why I've been drinking the citrus blast with the cayenne pepper, to kind of keep them out of my throat and mouth area. But at night, when they wake me up burrowing in my teeth roots and in my mouth, like I'll feel them in the back of the throat, kind of wagging a little bit. Then I have a thieves bottle, which is rosemary, eucalyptus, cinnamon clove, and lemon. And I'll put a couple of drops, but I'm so irritated and I'm so tired and I want to go back to sleep that I'll put I usually just use 1 drop, and I'll put like 3 or 4 drops in there. I'm so tired and I'm half awake. And then I'll swish it around and try and put it up by my roots of my teeth. So I'll kind of put it up with that and swish it, trying to get it up in there. And then I'll hold it in my mouth. And a couple times I've woken up with my tongue burnt from taste buds are kind of gone for half of the day. And so I would recommend being careful if you're going to use the thieves oil, but it's so hard when you're half asleep and you just want to sleep and they're waking you up. Like one night last week, I hardly slept at all. And I don't know if it was something I ate. I can't remember what it was, if I ate something they didn't like, or if it was the storm pressure, or I'd taken medication for my headaches, because I've had to do that a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. So I don't know what the problem was. It was awful. So I'd just be careful to not put too much cinnamon or clove or even cayenne in your mouth, that it would burn your taste buds because nothing tasted good the next day. And I was sad about that. When you have this, you're limited to what you can eat anyway. But anyway, so I wanted to share that like my beard, I didn't have this till I have the Parasite. So now I have like too much testosterone and I get like ingrown. You can see there's just a lot of sores all around, and it's usually like here where they come, and then I've been having longer pokier hairs and then they get ingrown, so that's why there's sores as I get these things. And I've shared that before, but I noticed when my daughter was here, she, poor thing, she's had this a lot longer than the rest of us, and she has a lot of dark hairs, and I just told her she should go get them lasered off because I don't, until we can cure this thing, I don't think that the balance of the hormones and the thyroid is going to get any better. It seems like my father has too much testosterone and he can't keep weight on. And I know another guy I talked to this week, he has similar parasite type of things and he can't put any weight on. And then the women, like I have some nieces that have this and daughters and whatever, they gain weight and then have this beard problem. So I just, if you have that problem, just know it seems to go along with this Parasite. I think they get in the hair follicles and they get in the thyroid and enlarged thyroid, and seems to be a problem. Leland says to look up T. Taylor's channel, please. I will do that. Two people shared that I should try some lung antiparasitics for sheep. Now, I did look up getting one. One of them they don't even sell around. You have to order it online. And that makes it kind of hard because they're not human for humans, but they are for lung parasites in sheep and other animals, and they are used for those animals. So I have researched them, but I didn't dare order it. And I just didn't, I don't know. I keep thinking there's got to be something I can try that is not illegal or not for human consumption. So I'm still trying some other things. So this week I wanted to share this one. I got a brochure from a chiropractor that says that it's quite interesting. He's passed away, but his family runs the company, and he used Hulda Clark's Parasite, some of her herbal remedies or formulas, as well as another guy that famous guy. It's escaping me now. I do have the brochure, but since I haven't talked to the company, I haven't tried it, I didn't want to put it online until I try it and see if it works. And then if it works, then it has the traditional wormwoods and black walnut hull and things like that. So it does have a few other things that some artemisian and some other things. So I wanted to try that. And so I've got it on my counter to order tomorrow and try that. So I will try that and I'll let you know if it works. I mean, gosh, I'll be singing it from the rooftops. You won't have to look far if it works. So, so there's that. I'm excited. It would be very nice to do that. So with the bladder, I didn't get back to it. So I think what happened was when I was putting the iodine on the knee, it caused the worms to go up into the bladder and then burrow a lot more in the bladder. And it seems like when I eat something or I put something on my skin they don't like, they run to the bladder. It's like inside, like, because by the time it digests, it takes a while for it to get there. So it seems like I've been driving them in and out of the bladder more frequently. And I've had more frequent that pop rock feeling lately. And a little bit more fluid has been coming out. So I think it's a bigger I can tell it, I can feel it. It's a bigger one burrowing around. So I think the bigger the parasite, the more the leakage. And I shared on other videos many times that somebody in my family had surgery and they checked the bladder and there was all these little red dots. And so I'm sure that's what's the problem is that they're burrowing in and out of the bladder. So I wanted to share that it can get worse if the parasites are bigger. As the worst I've had yet. And so there's that. Okay. This part is a little weird. It's about some people's comments, hater comments. Now, I'm not a big channel and I don't have a ton of viewers, and it's such a specific thing that I do such random things that if I did the same thing every day, if it was just about my kids and my life, I think I would have more viewers that are just voyeur type, want to watch family life video type thing, but I do so many different things on my channel that I get a lot of different viewers. So I have had haters in the past, and you're going to get that on any channel, and you're going to get people who are unkind on any channel because they can hide behind usernames and it doesn't really matter. So at first I felt like I needed to defend myself. I used to, explain things and justify why I said what I said or why I've done what I've done. And I wanted to bring it out and I forgot. And I think I've shared about this a little bit. I read an article in a magazine, and it talked about how this woman was in a class and somebody attacked her friend, and she just remained calm and kind of diffused the situation rather than confronting them. And so there was a little picture of dynamite with the fuse and a pair of scissors cutting the fuse. And so I cut that out and I put it on my computer area where I work, and to remind me to not ignite the dynamite. When you reply to these people, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a fight. And I know this. I was married to somebody who liked to fight. And when I first got married, I thought debating was fun. Like I thought, oh, we just joke back and forth, and people would say, why are you fighting? And I'm like, we're not fighting. This is just how we are. And then the longer it drew out, I realized I didn't like that contention, and I didn't like fighting, and I didn't like having to defend myself. And that became really stressful in my life. So towards the end, I just wouldn't fight. I thought I just need to have peace. So I would just give in. Because it wasn't worth a fight to me. I wanted peace. And so I kind of saw that in my own life, but then reading this article, I realized I don't want to have to defend myself online. I don't want to have to justify why I'm doing what I'm doing or why I'm trying what I'm trying, or making a video on this or not making a video on that. And I was watching I've mentioned this guy, I think, on another video. I watch his channel when I'm uploading videos and it's slow or something, I'm waiting for something. He puts a lot of videos out though, and so I have to pick and choose. But it's Curiosity Inc. And shout out to him. I think he's doing a great job. But the reason I was watching it, and I think I mentioned this, is he was cleaning out a hoarder house, and my mother was a hoarder house, and at times she had cats, and I think that could be part of the problem with the parasites. I think that they've done studies that the chemicals in the hoarders' brains are different, and I think that this cat parasite and I think it's this horsehair parasite that causes that. So I watched it for that reason, because I could see things floating in the air around him and a lot of the videos, and so I just kept wondering. And interestingly enough, he's having lung problems and a dry cough and some sinus issues and some other things. And so I worry that he's gotten this parasite by cleaning out this hoarder house that he bought. So anyway, one of his videos this last week, he was defending himself to a viewer, some people that commented some nasty comments, and he has thousands of viewers and thousands of comments. And I think it's so interesting that it seems like no matter how many positive comments that people have on their videos and on their channels, and how many thanks, gratitude comments that they get, it seems like we always focus on the negative ones, and we remember those negative ones. They're so hurtful and so unkind. I can tell you a bunch right now in my head, but yet there's hundreds of positives. I mean, I have every average on every month, I have over 300 positive like ups and less than 100 thumbs down. Always. Oh, it's always been that way. I've always had 3 or more times positives than the negatives. And it seems like the negative people will go through and they don't even watch the videos. They'll just click on and thumbs down, because you can see how long they stay on. You can see how many thumbs down are in the day. And it seems like all the thumbs down are all on like spiky the same day. And I'm like, that person just literally went and thumbs down to all my, and I kind of wonder if it's because I've blocked them. So I thought that was interesting that we tend to focus on the negative. And I felt sad for this guy, because he was focusing on the negative and addressing this. And he seemed really, really hurt by their comments. And I am hurt by the comments, but I've learned to just not listen to them and just delete them immediately. I don't even finish reading them. If it's a nasty comment, you can see in the first 5 seconds. usually when you're reading it, it's just like, oh, delete. And I block them because I don't want that negativity on the channel. I don't want people having debates over whether or not it's real or anything negative. I just want people to be able to come see what I've offered. If they have symptoms, they can just go through and read comments that are going to help them get better or help them be more positive than negative. And so I will just block them. And it reminds me of, like, in the scriptures, Matthew 5:25, it talks about agree with an adversary quickly. So I think what they're just saying in there is just don't argue. Don't give it the time of day. And so I wrote a blog post, and I think I mentioned this in another video. It's called Dear Taylor Swift, Walk Away with a Sparkler. Because if you detach the fuse from the bomb, you're left holding a sparkler and you shine. When she made her video about the people who were negative to her, and it's like, look what you made me do. She was really negative. And I've talked about this on another video, but I had a couple of people like this last week or two, and it was interesting because they started out as a compliment and said, oh, your video was really good and I like what you shared. And it was one of my jewelry, identifying jewelry, gold and silver videos. And they said, I really liked what you wrote, but then at the very bottom it said, so it was like 4 lines or whatever, and then it said, your fingernails are dirty and gross, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that's grossed out by your fingernails. And I thought, seriously? You just got this information? You said you got something good out of it. You got some information that was helpful to you. Now my fingernails, they're broken off, they're chipped. I work in the yard. They kind of orange around the edges. And I have the Parasite sometimes, so you'll get a black line in them. And then I have a cut finger. And so you can see all the scratches and whatever from working in the yard. And I have this finger, and it's not pretty. They sewed skin on from skin grafts, and I had it sewn into my body for months and trying to save that part of the finger. And I'm grateful they did, or I wouldn't have that pinky finger to type and piano or those type of things. So but I feel like the information I'm giving out is more important than me hiding my finger being cut off, or me hiding my dirty fingernails, or whatever. And so I thought, I don't need your backhanded compliment. I don't need your rude, your rude thing. So I just blocked her and deleted the comment. But it seems like there's always like some kind of negative. And I thought, if you don't like it, just thumbs down and move on. But I just to write hurtful things. Like there was a guy on my toenail fungus video. Now that's one of my most viewed videos. And I show the 3 different videos over the 6-8 months or whatever, how it healed. Now I could show you my toenail now, it's still healed. So what I did worked, and it was kind of a accident how I figured it out. I was soaking my feet in the peroxide to kill the parasites, and it started curing this toenail fungus that I'd had for a few years. And then as I continued with that and cleaned it out, and then just put a drop of these oil in, it cured that toenail fungus, and it's been cured for at least a year now. And so the guy watches part of the first video and writes a nasty thing. Well, let's see your toenail now. And yeah, I bet you didn't get cured and all these things. And I just went, seriously, dude? They're linked at the end of the video. You can see them. It's just, and of course he deleted his comment by himself after I wrote that. But I wonder if sometimes it's competitor people who think that there's not enough place on YouTube for other people to have. It just kind of is surprising to me how people will write nasty comments without even researching. I get a lot of that on my Parasite videos. People will look at those first few where I soaked my hands and had the worms coming up in dots on my hand. I mean, I didn't know what I had at that point. I knew I had all the symptoms of hookworm and threadworm, but I didn't know what specific worm I had. But I knew that I could feel them under the skin, and I knew that if I soaked it, I could bring them up and then they would show. And it makes people so angry for some reason. And I did put the title on there once I was diagnosed, and I put horsehair on there, but I get a lot of really rude comments on those videos. And one of the things that they are upset about the most on that video is where I talk about God and through inspiration. Now, I've shared with you, I'm very open that if you think it's crazy that I say prayers and I get answers to prayers, that's okay. But I wanted to talk about that because through Christ, I forgive people and I let it go and I just delete it and move on type of thing in my mind. Now, when you watch bullying shows like on Oprah, back in the day, I'm older, so it would be Oprah, but I don't know what they even have. I haven't watched TV in a long, long time, so I don't know what the current shows are where they would have, the bully person who was bullied and they would have the bullier and they'd bring them together on the same thing. And always what would happen is the person who was bullied would, it ruined my life and I've never been able to move forward. And I always remember how mean you were to me. And then the person who bullied them goes, oh, I didn't even remember that. Sorry, I just living my life. And the only person that was hurt by not forgiving was the person who was bullied. And that is how I think about life. If you know on my channel, I rarely talk about my marriage. I don't talk about the abuse or things like that happened or anything. I don't like that victim status. Even with this Parasite, I'm doing what I can to try and share the information and put it out there. I'm not on here going, oh my gosh, I'm dying. This is so awful. I don't know what to do. It's usually, this is what I've tried. This is what has happened. This is the response. This is how it is now. I try really hard not to be in that victim status. But sometimes it is like I'm saying, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I can't sleep or whatever. So it is a little bit of a victim story, but that's not why my channel started. And that wasn't what I was doing. And that's not what I want it to be. I really want it to be, this is what I've tried. This is how it's going. This is how I feel. This is what it is. And when people share with me how they're doing and they're tired and their symptoms, I share those as well if they want me to, because I feel like if we stay in that victim place, we can't move forward and we're stuck. And so I think if we forgive and we move on, that's how we do better. And so that's why I don't dwell on them. That's why I don't address them. That's why, and if they're if they're making comments on my channel, I just won't reply. Most of the time I just delete it. And literally it's only up there for a few seconds. And if I ever did take off, I'd have people moderate for me and just literally delete all those haters comments, because I don't want that on the channel. I don't want that negativity and I don't want to argue it. And I don't like it when people argue for me. Like there's one I left up from the very beginning where I was defending it because I felt like I didn't want more people to write the same thing. So if they knew there was a comment up there that they agreed with, they wouldn't write more. So there are a few on those early Parasite videos where I just left it. And people get on there and like, you don't know, she's not crazy, there's parasites. I just don't want that fighting on there. So if you notice, if you ever read the comments on my videos, I usually there's not a lot of those. I don't defend myself. I don't feel like I need to defend myself. Yes, I have a parasite that's never been heard of on humans. Yes, it has weird symptoms. Yes, I see like floating things around my head. Yes, I think that there is something to that. Yes, I do feel like, there's parasites burrowing and waking me up at night in the back of my throat and my bladder and wherever. But just because you don't know the truth of it doesn't mean you need to attack it. Like that guy who attacked the Parasite video, the toenail video, he never even took the time. And most of the people I find that write those rude comments on my videos, they haven't even watched or gone to my blog and researched it at all. They're just watching that one video that before I knew what parasite I had, and just deleting, like writing rude things about that one video. So people will ask me all the time. Now, I don't have my girls on my channel a lot. I've tried to keep them protected, and my grandkids, I take videos and then I just don't upload them because I kind of want to keep them safe from people, because there are so many haters and so many rude people that I just try and keep them safe. But people who know my girls will say to me all the time, how do you keep your girls, like how are your girls so not victims? How are they doing great things in the world and going places and graduating college magna cum laude and serving missionaries and not, because we were in a bad situation. My marriage was really not healthy, and a lot of not kind things happened in that. And it takes two. I agree, it takes two. But the kids have been through a lot with a very long divorce, and custody battle, and it was rough. And a lot of people in town went through it with us. And they say to me, how are your girls so kind and sweet and not bitter? And they don't ever bring up victimhood or anything like that. And I really have tried hard to not have them be victims. And I don't want to be a victim. I really don't want somebody to come and save me. I just want to figure this thing out so I can move on and live my life without this. But I know that this is part of my life, and I'm the kind of person that would share it. And it's embarrassing, but because I want to help people and figure it out, I share it. So I think a lot of people wouldn't do that. And so because I do that, I think because I can forgive and let it go, I can move on and do other things. Like if I was stuck in this part of my life or this part of my life and couldn't let go and forgive, I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at now. And hopefully I can let this part of my life go quickly and soon and figure out a cure and then move on to a different part, so I'm not stuck in this parasite victim place. Because I really would like to do more things in my life than this. So I just want to share how I got to that point, because people seem to think that it's crazy that I talk to God or pray and I feel like I get answers through inspiration. I don't hear him tell me do this. I just have a thought come into my head that makes me feel like, oh, I want to try that. And it's not something I've ever thought of before. Somebody wrote me, how do you think that God is giving you that answer? And the reality is, it's usually not something I would think of. For example, I was at the store yesterday and I was getting some wood things to put in my garden area I talk about in the beginning of the video. Now, there was a guy that was helping me. He was taking the stuff out of this crate, and we were trying to hammer the nails out so I could put it in my car with the cardboard, because it wouldn't fit in the car with the cardboard. And I was just like saying a little prayer in my head. I'm like, I just need to get this in there, because I've been out doing this for 3 hours collecting cardboard boxes so that I could put them in the back and not have the weeds growing and the cats pooping in the garden. So that sounds really stupid to some people, that I would pray about something so little as that. But into my mind came an idea to cut the nails short and then just pop them out with a hammer. And I shared it with the guy, and the guy stopped and looked at me and goes, that's a really good thought. That's a really good idea. And so he just took his wire cutter, snipped it, and popped it out. And I think that a Heavenly Father, a loving God, I believe he is my Father in heaven, would give an answer to a prayer. And so I know this sounds odd, but if you've never talked to God and you've never had that experience, it's really hard to express that thought process. It's an idea that pops into your head that you wouldn't normally think of. It's not in the normal thought process. Like, guy looked at me and went, wow, I mean, this guy does this for a living. What he was doing with me, helping me. And he just was like, oh, that's a really good idea. So I had a friend, I've known him for 30 something years. I mean, they moved in when my oldest was a baby. And I would never pray for some help with things. I was very strong-willed, and I was very prideful in the sense that I was accomplishing things by myself. And that was a really big part of who I was when I was younger. I was really independent. I wasn't really close to people. Like I would want to be like, I would look good in their eyes. Like I could do it all. I could do anything a man can do, and I don't need any help from anybody. And that was my personality when I was younger. I think it was just being one of that many kids. I was one of 8 kids, and being a middle kid, I just didn't get a lot of help, and maybe that just was what made me strong. But so I didn't ever pray for help, and I never prayed for things, because I felt like I needed to be independent and strong. So I had this friend, and he and his wife are really dear friends, and he's very spiritual. And I said, he said, have you prayed about this situation? And I said, no. Like, why would I pray about it? I can do it myself. I don't need any help. And he said, if your kids asked you to tie their shoe, would you tie their shoe? And I said, well, of course I would. And he said, even if their hands weren't full, or if they were full? And I was like, yeah, even more if their hands were full, I'd want to help them, because I wouldn't want them to trip and fall. I love them, and I wouldn't want them to be hurt. So he said, your Heavenly Father is like that. He is your Father. He's a loving Father, and he wants to help you, but you have to ask. You have to humble yourself and ask him for the help. And that one bit of advice saved me during my divorce. My divorce took 2.5 years to be finished. There was a Supreme Court case. There was a lot of court cases. There was mediators, special masters, guardian ad litem. I mean, like, you name it. It was an awful, awful divorce. And I don't think I would have made it through that divorce had he not given me that suggestion. And through having to ask for help with that situation, I realized I didn't have to be strong all the time. I didn't have to do it myself. Yes, I could do it by myself because I'm strong and I will, but I didn't have to do it by myself, which was a huge thing for me, like to realize that I was not alone and I didn't have to do it myself. So I learned through that experience, like if I was running late and I had one kid have something at the middle school, I had 5 kids in 5 different schools, from preschool to high school and then elementary to college, several times in raising them. I have a big space in the middle. So I was running rampant, like all the time. I was like, I have one kid have a performance at one school, one kid have another school, one needed to be at dance lessons or piano lessons or whatever. And I got to the point where I was like, Heavenly Father, please help me find a parking place out front. I need to get to the kids so I can be there for the kids, because my kids only had me. I was the person that was there. And so I always went to every performance with a camera in hand, to be there, so they knew they had somebody there. So if I hadn't had that friend share that with me, I would not have learned to ask Heavenly Father for little things, and I wouldn't have seen it happen. Because when I started to ask him for those kind of things and say, Heavenly Father, what, like, I need help with this, and then I would get that thing. And I learned through that experience that I could get things I wanted and not just things I needed. Because at first I would only ask for things I needed, but then it got to the point where, like, oh, the kids would love a Wii. I couldn't afford it, being a single mom of 5. And I won one from Panasonic. So my kids got games. We got a Blu-ray player, a big screen TV, all of the things that would make my life more fun for them. But I didn't need those. Those weren't, they weren't like food or car or something that I would need to function. They were gifts that my kids would have loved. It happened over and over and over. Somebody gave my kids 16 gigabyte iPods right when they first came out with a $100 music card. That was something I would want them to have, but it wasn't a need. And I learned from asking Heavenly Father through that type of prayer that he wants to give us the things that we need, and he cares about us. And so people ask me how, they make fun of how I've gotten my inspiration about this parasite and how I got it diagnosed. But I guarantee you, and I will tell you truthfully, I never would have gotten this parasite diagnosed if it weren't for prayer and inspiration from God. And that is the truth. And I don't care if anybody believes it. I don't care if they write negative comments. It does not matter to me, because I know the truth. And that is what I will say forever, that I know that God loves me, and I know that he cares, and that he wants this parasite brought back. So I know I didn't want to make this preachy, but I feel like if you have something that you're stressing about and you want to let go of, and you don't want it to be overwhelming and consuming you, like I talked about the haters and the bulliers, that you need to give it to God. And if you believe in a different God, that's great. Just give it to somebody else. Put it in your mind. So how I do it is I just picture God in my mind, and I say a prayer, and I say, I no longer want this. I no longer want to worry about this. And I hand it to him, and then I don't water it. Like, if you worry about it, you're watering it and you're giving it energy, and you don't want to give it energy. So I give it to him, and I let him take it. And then if I think about it again, I put it out of my mind and I hand it to him. I say, look, I thought about this again, and I told you it was yours to worry about, and I'm not going to worry about it anymore. So if I give you a plant, I'm not going to go water that plant. So I give it to God, and I let him take care of it. And that's how my kids have gotten through the divorce and all the horrible things that happened to them. They were like put in juvie and some horrible things. But if you met my girls, you would never know. People say to me, your girls are just amazing. And that's true. I can brag as a mom. They are amazing. They are good kids, and they do good in the world. And so it really, really works. That forgiveness and moving forward really works. So I have a tapping video that really helps you visualize it and help to let it go. And I just give it to Christ, give it to whoever you need to give it to let it go, but you just need to let it go. So that's the hater thing. I don't ever, hopefully everyone will never address the hater situation again or anything. I'll just delete them and block them because I don't, why? I'm just giving them energy if I do that. So I give them to God. If it's something that's really hurtful, I just say, Lord, I don't want this kind of energy. I don't want this negativity. And I give them, that person, to God. And if they want to talk to God about it, they can talk to God about it. And I wonder what's gone on in their life that they need to be that hurtful and that mean to somebody who's just trying to help somebody else. So, let's see, Nicole wrote, I guess my comment didn't go through. They obviously are attracted to liquid. Have you tried a diet from water as opposed to just water? I hardly drink any water. I am drinking water today. It's got minerals in it. I do try to stay away from water, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. I haven't seen if I drink more water, they're better or not. I can't drink water late at night because they'll swirl, and I get like really bad heartburn. If I don't drink water all day and then I drink water at night, especially, that's when they'll swirl and it's awful. So it's crazy. But so thank you. I have tried both. I think I mentioned this on another video. I've been researching just doing a water diet where all you do is drink water for a few weeks. And I don't know if I could do it because I get so much from the vitamins and the nutrients and the beets. I feel better when I eat the beets. I just don't know if I'd be able to do it. I've gone a few days without food before and just on water, but I don't know if I could do it. So I want to finish by telling you how I pray. I know I've traveled the world a little bit, and I know that a lot of cultures don't even know how to pray. When I went to Czech Republic with my mom, we met some people, and they never heard a choir sing. Like, I couldn't believe that they had never heard a choir sing. We sang choirs in elementary school up through high school. I was in choirs, madrigals. All of my brothers were in singing groups. After that, all my kids were in a community choir. They traveled around the U.S. singing in this community choir. All of them were in it but one. And so I was really shocked to know that there's people out there that don't know how to pray, because it's been so integral in my life. I've prayed since I was a little child, but I didn't know how to pray in the way that's the best, works the best. And I mean, you do, and you hear it, and they're rote, you get, when I've gone to Catholic churches, they have their recited prayers, and they have their Lord's Prayer, which they, follow that example. And we believe the Lord's Prayer in my belief system, that the Lord's Prayer is an example of how it should be done. And so, so I open with, because I believe he's my Heavenly Father, I say, Dear Heavenly Father, but you could say God or whatever as an opening, and then thank him for the things that you feel blessed for. Now, 99% of my prayers are gratitude prayers. I mean, blessed mom, The Secret is Gratitude is the name of the thing. Most of my prayers are sincerely just gratitude prayers. Throughout the day, I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord, that I can see that sunset. That's just so beautiful. I'm so grateful that I have my eyes that I can see. Now, my eyes have issues, but I still can see. And I can see the beautiful colors and whatever. And I give gratitude that I can smell the beautiful lilacs when I go in my backyard, and they just smell so pretty right now. And I'm grateful that I can taste food, because when I was mentioning earlier in the video, I burnt my tongue. I couldn't taste anything, and I was like, oh, this is awful. So I've been careful not to put that much leaves on my tongue so that I don't burn my tongue. So that all day long, I just give gratitude. Now, I know there's some people who train on that by carrying a clicker and try and click it. So every time they think about something they're grateful for. And if that helps you remember, then do it. Just can't all the things you're blessed and all the gratitude things. But I just find throughout the day, I just say a lot of gratitude prayers, and I give gratitude for all the things that I'm grateful for. And when I lay in bed at night and I can't sleep, I say gratitude prayers, all the things that I'm grateful for. And I have a sign on my wall that says, what if you woke up tomorrow with only things that you gave gratitude for today? And I think I would probably be okay. Because I give gratitude a lot, but I mean, and it's not just saying the words. I am very, very grateful for the things that I've been blessed with. I hear stories, and I was talking to somebody earlier today. After church, I gave our choir director a ride home, and she was telling me some of the situations in her life, some health problems with some of her family members. And I just said, you know what? I'll take my cats in my yard, scratching my trees, and I'll take my, I'm at least I have a yard and a tree and a house and live in a town where I can have that. And so I always try and turn the negatives into a gratitude moment. For people who know me, that's something that my kids and I'll do a lot. We just try and give gratitude even when we're going through a struggle. I have a sign in my basement that said, count your blessings as they come and as they go. And that is how I feel. So you thank the Lord first for things. And I always tell my kids, when they come up, I want this, or their friends would come in and, no, we want that. And I would say, well, I usually give people, the ones that thank me, I usually give them more, because it makes me feel like I'm appreciated. So if I have 5 kids and I buy them all an ice cream cone, the one that comes up and says, thank you, he's the one I want to give another ice cream cone to. And I feel like the Lord is the same way. If we give him that opportunity, he wants to bless us. And so then after you thank him, you ask for the things that you need. And I just sincerely, it's not even the things that you need. Sometimes it's the things that you want. I thought I wanted a TV and the Wii for my kids, and I won that. And I'm very grateful. He has blessed me in so many ways. I thought maybe I would do a video coming up on the gratitude moment, like things I've won when I've prayed for it and how I've gotten them. So if I have something that I need and I want, I pray about it, and then I give it to God. And every time I think about it, I'm like, okay, I asked you to take care of that. I'm overwhelmed. I can't take care of that. So I'm going to let you take care of that. And that has been a big blessing in my life. And then in the end, you just close in the name of Christ, because he's the intermediary between us and the Father. So you open it, to Father and God, and then through Christ at the end. So that's how you pray. And I'm sure that, people are probably click off by that point, but I wanted to share that because in some of the videos I talk about prayer and people have acted weird about it. So it's okay. Nicole, thank you for your comments. If you want to write me on my YouTube channel, email, it's thesecretisgratitude at gmail.com. If you want to write me on there, we can visit about your comment. And I'm guessing that not everybody's comments got up there. As you said, it didn't go through or something. I don't know. This is a new form for me at the forum. I don't know. I'm using the live dashboard versus the regular one. So I'm wondering if people's messages didn't come through, or, I'm picking a bad day of the week or whatever. But I appreciate those of you that got on and commented and watched for the whole thing. There's been on and off as people could, but I wish people would share what day of the week would be best or what time would be best. And I guess it's just different depending on the week for most people, but I'm hoping to do my videos more on this level and this format than on the other, so that I can answer questions if people have them. But I haven't done a lot of trial and error with the parasites. I haven't ordered anything, taken it. I've been just I've had a lot going on with kids and overwhelmed. I shared that in a couple of videos past, but things are better. I'm feeling better, trying to get more done, but I have a lot on the yard and the house to get done. And I have been working on the horsehair blog or webpage. So I'm hoping to finish that this week. I did work on it more. And so I just need to put up things I've tried. Treatments I've tried, and then I need to get a web name for it. I picked one, and I was thinking krakeninfo.com, because I want something people will remember, but my daughter's like, why add something else in the mix? She's thinking if I just did horsehairnemotomorphainhumans.com or something like that, but it's so hard for people to spell. I mean, I struggle spelling it. So I'm struggling with what to name the webpage because I need to buy a domain. So I will come up with something and get that done. And hopefully I can get that taken care of and more people can look into it and we can figure out a cure for this so we can all move on. Those of you that have this. Thank you for watching. I thank you for subscribing, and I'm still working on getting things. I know it's a little bumpy. I need to figure out a better place to put it. Oh, Prairie Picking Girls, I love you. You're welcome. That prayer is absolutely my saving grace. I don't talk to a lot of people during the day, but because I live alone and I don't talk to my kids every day. I'm not one of those kind of hovering moms. I'm like, go live your life and call me when you need me. And that's what they do. So God is my friend, and I say prayers to him and give gratitude all day long. And so prayer really is a beautiful part of my life. So you're welcome. But I think in my head, I assume most people know how to pray, but I don't know that they normally do. And I'm sorry that we do get called crazy, because we do. And the crazy part is I have been diagnosed and I have had the worms identified finally. And the sad part is you can send in worms and nobody gets diagnosed because they're not on the human database. And so until we get enough people diagnosed, they won't look at it, but they can't get diagnosed because even if they send in scrapings or whatever, nobody can identify them. So there are a few things. I think I'm going to write a large letter. Once I get the webpage done, I want to write a large letter to the governor or somebody high in office and just send them to the webpage where it's all bullet points and it's very clear. The one thing I am not sure I haven't put on the page was the link between suicide and, so it might take me a little longer to get the webpage done because I need to put the suicide and iodine in with it as well. But yes, we do get told we're crazy, and it's okay. I can handle that. People call me crazy all the time. So maybe I am. I'm not the parasite that causes crazy. So maybe we all are, but dang if we can't change the world being crazy. It's awesome. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you all have a very blessed day.